Hi, my name's Hayley Quinn, and again, welcome back to my mini-series to celebrate the launch of my new program, Dating OS. Now, in this video, I'm going to be hitting on a really common dating issue, especially for the guys out there, and that is finding love online using dating apps, struggling to get to the point where you can actually meet her in real life for a date. Because you know what it's like, you're swiping away, you finally get a match, then it takes the girl ages to get back to you. The messages are really boring. It's hard to exchange them. At no point do you feel that you've actually said enough that you can get to the point where you can ask for her phone number. Then she unmatches you or disappears. And so this somehow really quick and easy way of meeting people turns into a complete nightmare, where in fact the amount of energy and time you're putting into online dating apps for the rewards that you're getting in terms of actual dates with women in real life is just off. So what I want to do is, first of all, I'm going to give you a little bit of a message on how you should be thinking about online dating apps. Then a very simple step-by-step process where you can get her off the dating app and into real life where it counts. Okay, so first a quick word on dating apps. Obviously, they're relevant, they're good, they're useful in their own way. However, a limitation of them is, of course, that you don't know if she's a real person, or even if she is a real person, if she has any true intention to meet someone in real life. Everyone, or not everyone, but there's lots of people that can go on online dating apps. Maybe they're seeing someone else, maybe they're just really busy, maybe they don't feel confident enough to meet a stranger from an online dating app. There could be a million reasons that would hold her back from taking a step outside of the door and going to meet you on a date. Now, your job is in fact not to convince this group of people that meeting you is a good idea, because if they're not actively going out to meet you in real life, that's kind of to do with them more than it is to do with you. Instead, I think your strategy should be to look for the people who are really open and ready to meet in real life, and they do exist, they really do. Women will also feel the same frustration who want to meet you. So your job is to think instead, how can I design the messages that I send her to make sure I'm really filtering for, first and foremost, someone who is open and willing to invest in me in real life? Because if we can't meet for a coffee or we can't meet for a drink face to face, this is never going to go anywhere. Forget about sex and relationships. We won't even get to that stage. I won't even get to the point where she's not just a bunch of pixels. So in order to do this, I've got a first message that I want you to cut and paste and send. Yep, that's right. I'm suggesting a message template. This is the one that I've designed as part of my Dating OS program. It's super effective. After that, what I want you to do is to have a very quick follow-up, which pushes towards you having a phone number exchange. Because once you have her phone number, it's like a double safe. Even if she gets annoyed and deletes the app, or you delete the app, or something goes wrong, or there's an unmatch or whatever, you have a method of staying in contact with her. Also, the people who are most open to meeting in real life will also be most open to exchanging phone numbers. They don't want to spend the rest of their lives chatting on an in-app chatting service either. So you're only going to do yourself a good job of filtering by going for the phone number quickly, and I'll be teaching you the exact steps of how to do it. So let's start with that beginning message. Now, the beginning message, I'm only saying cut and paste. It's not because I don't think you should approach everybody as an individual, but it's just because of the volume or the numbers that come into online dating before you meet that person who's probably really open to meeting you in real life. A great first message could be something along the lines of, so shall we exchange small talk for 2 weeks and then never meet in real life, ? And then put a nice wink on it. Now, at this point, what you're doing is two things that are really clever. One, you're being kind of individualistic. You're not saying hi or hi babe, how are you? Which is so boring and is a difficult question to answer. And you know what woman is going to feel freaking motivated to respond to that? Zero. Secondly, right in the first message, you're kind of setting the frame or the tone of the interaction by pointing out that you're not the kind of person who wants to spend forever on the internet. Instead, you want to actually get off app and into real life. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to listen to her response. Now, hopefully what you're actually looking for is a woman who writes a nice detailed response back. If you just get an emoji or a lol or a hi, I'd already be thinking about screening this person out, because this person is being lazy, and if she had a real intention to meet you in real life, she would engage with you and she'd write a bit more back. So you are looking about what the highest quality options are for you. From here, a great way to direct the conversation is to say, so I'd like to chat on WhatsApp. How about we exchange 3 questions? And if you're happy with my answers, you send me your phone number. So you create a little game. Now, games are really fun. They're much more interesting than just going through like a bunch of kind of questions that seem unrelated or trying to string out small talk. You've also very cleverly created a parameter. You're saying, well, like, how about we swap 3 questions each, ask me anything, and if at the end of that you're happy, we swap phone numbers. So it means that you've put a distinct timer on how long you're going to spend in that small talk, because it can get really confusing, right? You're like, how long do I need to message her for before it's okay for me to ask for her phone number? So I want you to get out ahead of the pass here and actually create a really consistent structure, which means that after you've each asked each other 3 questions back and forwards, then there is a point where you're going to ask for her phone number, and that is pre-set out. The fact that it's a game as well, and there's an ability to ask you anything back and forth, will make your interaction more exciting, which again is going to prompt her to respond. Now, I would suggest with the questions that you say that you don't go for anything too sexual, especially not straight away, because you know what? Women online get a lot of that stuff, and to be honest, it can be frustrating and boring. So you don't want to, again, put yourself in a bracket with a bunch of other guys by going too sexual too quickly. Instead, a good way to begin the questions is to ask something involving an opinion. So you could say something along the lines of, so imagine you have a plane ticket flying out of London tomorrow. Is it to Rio in Brazil or Reykjavik, Iceland? So you get there by, again, you've given a clear parameter and you've given her 2 options to choose between. This should be quite telling, and the response that she gives is quite telling about who she is. It's an interesting question. It's not how are you or what's up or how's your weekend going. Instead, you're again making her think more creatively, and by asking a question that is just more original, you're demonstrating how you're different from the other guys out there. Now, when she responds, you can simply say, interesting, ... So you never want to really reveal whether you approve or disapprove of her response. Instead, you want to keep her on tenterhooks, wanting to play on in this game that you've created. You can also notice how kind of flirty and how sexual she wants to take things by how she starts to lead the questions. If her questions become more flirtatious, that's kind of like a thumbs up for you to take a little step in that direction as well. The important point is, after you've each exchanged 3 messages back and forward, you would say something to the effect of, okay, send me your number and I'll ask you question 4 on WhatsApp. And that's, again, you play into the theme of the messages, you carry on the questioning game if she's enjoyed it, and you clearly state an expectation that she gives her number here, and you cross over to WhatsApp or some other form of instant messaging. At this point, if you've had this fun game and you've enjoyed swapping questions back and forwards, and she's like, oh, I don't know if I know you well enough yet, or I don't really feel comfortable, or she goes quiet, this would be indicating that for whatever reasons, and she's allowed to have her reasons, she's not in that position where she's willing to press forwards and meet you in real life. I would argue that by communicating with her even more, that's really quite unlikely to do much to influence her. Instead, probably the best thing that you can do here is to withdraw, focus on other matches and other people who will be willing to meet you in real life. And if anything, that might prompt her to reassess and think, oh, maybe actually I should have given that guy a chance because he seemed really interesting. So my new model that I'm suggesting for you to use on dating apps is actually one that's much more you-focused. It's much more about how can I develop something which is going to lead me to real-life dates? How can I cut short mindless conversation? How can I exit small talk? How can I say something which demonstrates my originality? How can I make sure that I'm moving this interaction offline as quickly as possible? And once you step outside of that cycle of really needing to like please her or gain her approval, and instead you completely refocus on what you need to do in order to find the women that are best placed to meet you in real life, you're going to find that your results dramatically shift. And guess what? I've got another cheat sheet. Woohoo! So you can just click on the link below. I have spent time writing down the exact messaging process, examples of the questions that you can use. So you know what? If you are getting fed up of those interactions taking too long, use my cheat sheet. It gives you the precise details you need to know to move your date from URL to IRL, that's in real life. So click on the link below and grab my cheat sheet.